Bradley Manning.
All right. So my name is Leah Bolger. I'm the president of Veterans for Peace. And Veterans for Peace is a national organization of veterans and allies who believe that war should be obsolete. And there are lots of better ways to find solutions to our problems than killing people and destroying things. So Veterans for Peace has been a long-time supporter of Bradley Manning. And we are here today to protest the treatment of Bradley Manning, who's been a truth teller and a whistleblower. Today is a day of action called by the Veterans, not the Veterans for Peace, but the Bradley Manning Support Network. There are protests around the country today. Over 30 protests have been called today, September 6th. And the reason this day was chosen is because September 6th, this afternoon, is the day that President Barack Obama is going to accept the nomination for re-election to presidency. Now, President Barack Obama is the reason that Bradley Manning is in jail right now, and that's why we are protesting on this day, and that's why we are walking to Obama headquarters all over the country. People are doing that on this day. Now, I understand from my emails that in New Hampshire the door was closed in their face, that Obama headquarters shut the door. They didn't want to hear the truth. They didn't want to hear from the people. I understand also, though, that in Washington, D.C., they were able to deliver their letter to the president. And even though the police came and they didn't want to accept it, they did deliver their letter, and they weren't intimidated, and they stood up to the powers that be to speak the truth and demand justice for Bradley Manning. Now, I want to ask you all to imagine what you would do if you saw a crime being committed. Let's say you witnessed somebody being attacked or harmed, and you were witness to this crime. What would you do? Would you just say, oh my gosh, that was a terrible thing? Would you report it to the police? Would you tell somebody about it? What would you do? Well, I like to think that I'm the kind of person that would report it and try to seek justice for the victim of that crime. Well, it's exactly what Bradley Manning did. He witnessed a crime, and he knew that if he reported it to his superior, that it would go nowhere, because in fact it is his superior all the way up the chain of command, who was responsible for the crimes that he witnessed. And what I'm talking about are the war crimes that were documented in the videos and the emails that Bradley Manning supposedly leaked to WikiLeaks. Now, when you see when a soldier is bound by the truth, when Bradley Manning knew that the perpetrators of the crimes that he witnessed were his own government, was his own chain of command, and that the real perpetrator of a crime is war. War itself is the crime. And so there's no way to report that and get action. It's like you know, if appealing to a murderer to investigate his own crime. It just doesn't make any sense. So Manning supposedly, and when I talk about he did this or he did that, what he's alleged to have done, I am assuming that he did, because I want him to get the credit for what he did. He's being punished for what he supposedly did. I think he needs to be credited for what he did, because it is an act of true bravery to risk his liberty, his freedom, for the rest of his life, to let us know the truth of war. So when he released these videos, it wasn't a surprise to anyone. It wasn't a secret to the people that were depicted in the videos. The Afghans, certainly, it was no secret to them. The Iraqis, it's no secret to them that their people are being slaughtered and killed and their property destroyed, and that it's not safe to walk in their streets. So what the government did, though, instead of investigating and saying this was wrong, these videos document war crimes, is to cover it up, classify it, and say, turn it around and say, Manning is the criminal here. Manning did something bad because he released something we didn't want you to see. Well, what they didn't want you to see was the truth. The truth of war is that it's illegal, it's harmful, it's immoral, it should be stopped, and that every day that we are in Iraq, every day we're in Afghanistan, every day that we're dropping bombs from drones in Pakistan, it's another day that we are culpable for war crimes, for crimes against humanity. And that is what Bradley Manning is trying to tell us by releasing not a convoluted, made-up depiction of what happened, but the truth, actual videos of the truth of war. So what I want to ask people is, you know, what can we do? Bradley Manning has risked his life, and you know what he did is punishable by death. And there are some congressmen who have called for the death penalty for what he did. Instead of investigating and saying what is shown on these videos, that is the real crime. These videos show absolute violations of international law. They show civilians being killed. They show escalation of use of force without warnings, without jumping right to shooting people to kill them. Instead of, you're supposed to identify the target. You're supposed to give them fair warning. You're supposed to move up in increments. There's so many things wrong there. But instead of investigating it and saying, yes, this is wrong, we turn it around and say, oh, well, the messenger, he's the wrong guy. So we are protesting today. We're protesting Obama. We're not saying we're protesting the Democratic Party. We're not. We have chosen the Democratic or the Obama headquarters because that is where Obama is campaigning for another term of 4 more years of opaqueness. You know, he ran on the platform of transparency, and he was going to end Guantanamo, and he was going to make government transparency. He was going to support whistleblowers. That was one of the things he talked about. But instead, he has turned the ultimate whistleblower into a criminal. And he has not only done that, but he has completely negated Bradley Manning's opportunity for a fair trial by pronouncing him guilty in the press. President Obama has said that Bradley Manning is guilty. Now, Obama is the commander-in-chief. Everybody in the military is underneath him in the chain of command. And the people who are going to be selected for Bradley Manning's court-martial for the jury all work for President Obama. Now, I don't know how you could possibly have a fair trial when the jury work for the guy who said he's already guilty. It's impossible. There can be no fair trial. So that's one reason why the charges should be dismissed, because there can't be a fair trial. Another reason why the charges should be dismissed is that Bradley Manning has now been incarcerated for more than 2 years. 9 months of that time he was in solitary confinement, and a good portion of that time he was being tortured. Now, the UN considers solitary confinement to be a form of torture, but not only was he in solitary confinement for 9 months, but he was deprived of many privileges. He was not allowed to exercise. He was not allowed to sleep. Sleep deprivation is a known torture tactic. He was not allowed to communicate, socialize with anyone. He was not allowed to even relax and sit with his back up against the wall. He was not allowed to lay down on his bunk. He had to sit upright or stand for between the hours of 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. He was not allowed to exercise. He was not allowed outside. All these are violations of the Geneva Conventions. This is not how we treat anyone. This is not how we treat prisoners of war, much less our own citizens. So, number 2, he can't get, the charges should be dismissed because he has been tortured and he has been held unfairly, illegally for over 2 years. Now, there's a matter of due process. His defense attorney has asked repeatedly for all the documentation to be given to the defense, and the government has stalled. They have played games. They have released only a tiny fraction of the evidence against him, and they're playing big games. And so now he was arrested in May of 2010. Now it's 2.5 years later, and we still don't have a trial. This man is being held in shackles, in solitary confinement for what constitutes really a white-collar crime. Bradley Manning didn't kill anybody. Bradley Manning released a video that showed people killing, but none of those people are being prosecuted. None of the perpetrators of these illegal actions are being prosecuted or investigated. So to hold him in confinement for all these years is crazy. He's not a threat. He is not a threat, and he's being punished. And now we've just realized, just recently, in the last couple of weeks, that the person who ordered him to be held in solitary confinement and ordered him to be stripped of his clothes and ordered him to have to sit at attention was a 3-star general at the Pentagon, had nothing to do with Bradley Manning's chain of command. It was not a psychiatrist at Quantico. It was not a psychologist who thought he might be a harm to himself. It was not even the brig commander at Quantico. It was a 3-star general, the very top of the chain of command, who said he shall be treated this way as a punishment. So he is being punished before he's ever been found guilty of anything. This goes against our Constitution. This goes against our judicial process. So we are here today to say no. We want no more of it. We want to say to the world that we see through this administration, the Obama administration, that codifies war crimes and turns the whistleblowers into the criminals. We are here to say that we stand on the side of truth, we stand on the side of peace, we stand on the side of justice, we stand on the side of transparency, and we are here to say that Obama has no other choice but to dismiss the charges against Bradley Manning. There can be no other just recourse, and we want it done. We want it done now, and we are going to march down to Obama headquarters and leave notices for them. I don't know if they're afraid of us because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to know. But we're not backing down. There are people all over the world that support Bradley Manning, and that's because they see through it. This situation with Bradley Manning is like a microcosm of the whole political system. The whole world sees that the United States doesn't obey its own rules. It doesn't obey its world rules or treaties or laws. That we think we're above that. And we turn everybody else to be, the United States points to other countries as being violators of human rights, and that we have to go in and make things safe and better. And the whole world is sick of this. And that's why you see the big support for Bradley Manning in countries like Germany and England and France, NATO countries that are tired of being puppets of the United States military and doing their bidding. And they see this. They see our double standards and our hypocrisy in the United States. And they're saying, good for you, Bradley Manning. You're speaking the truth. We support you. So let's, without any further ado, I've probably spoken too long. Let's pack up. Let's walk down there. Let's be righteous. Let's chant, we are Bradley Manning. We want him released now. We would call for justice. We call for an end to his incarceration. We demand it, and that's what we're here to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley.
You are Bradley.
We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley. You are Bradley.
We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning.
Free Bradley Manning.
We are Bradley Manning. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning. We are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley.
You are Bradley.
We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley.
Bradley.
One thing or another.
I like it. Obama. That's great.
Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one to do the time. Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one who should do time. Telling the truth is no crime.
Obama's the one who should do time. Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one that should do time. Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one who should do time.
Is no crime. Obama's the one that
Should do time. Telling the truth is no crime.
Obama's the one that should do time. Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one that should do time. Bradley Manning, truth teller. Obama's the one that should do time. Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one that should do time. Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one that should do time. Telling the truth is no crime. Obama's the one that should do time.
Free Bradley! Free Bradley Manning!
Free
Bradley!
Bradley! Free Bradley Manning! Free 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 Bradley! Free Bradley! Bradley Manning! Free Bradley! Free Bradley Manning!
All right!
Here we are, folks. I gotta knock on the door. Yep.
Everybody here?
All right, ready to go in?
Okay, folks. I gotta say hello here. Oh, locked up.
All right.
It's closed down.
How many copies of the letter do we have?
We got about a dozen.
Okay.
Maybe a few less.
All right. What we're going to do, folks. Here, give me the Okay, it appears that their headquarters is closed. They heard we were coming and they don't want to hear the truth. So what we're going to do, we have several copies of a letter that we want to deliver to Obama headquarters here. We're going to get signatures on all the letters, and we're going to tape them up on these windows so they'll be able to find them when they come back. So let's get the copies of the letters out. We're going to sign them, put those up here too, let them know exactly why we're here. So let's all get our names on these letters, get them taped up here, and they'll be waiting for them when they come back to tomorrow, I guess. All right. All right, so who's got the copies of the letters? Let's get our names on them and get them taped up here. Come on up, folks.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Ashland, I come from Astoria. We try to make these things when we can.
Good. You're from Astoria?
Yeah.
And you're from?
Ashland.
Ashland. And you guys came up for this event here? Kind of?
Yes.
Good.
Deb notified me, and insists that I come that way. So.
Well, thanks for being here.
And she has a tough time driving, really, but she did it all by herself.
Yep. Well, good job. Thanks for being here. That's good solidarity. And
It's worth being here for.
You bet.
There's not enough of us to hedge against this atrocity that's taken over our nation.
Yep.
I don't know what to do about it. Deb says to keep doing this stuff, so I don't know.
Just keep using our voices and our bodies, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's all we
have.
Yeah.
And that's what Bradley used, his voice and his body, too.
I make mine as fat as possible so I can be really seen really good.
Well, we'll check the video and see.
Oh, you're gonna...
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much. Nice
Okay.
to meet
You bet.
That's what we really like. If you just sign up.
That's okay. We're going to have more than
Oh, what's the next sign? Damn, I'm getting slow in my own word.
F-A-O-R-M-E.
Get dirty, huh?
Obama for America.
Well, now I got the shirt off. It's all on the.
Oh.
Oh, I need a tall person. We want to get it way up there on the night shape.
Oh, good.
Good.
Here's a present for you.
Thank you.
I went to Cuba.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. This is a letter that we're delivering. It's being delivered nationwide. President Obama, as U.S. veterans and allies, we ask you to uphold your campaign promises by freeing Private First Class Bradley Manning. Today, September 6, 2012, we gather at presidential campaign offices nationwide in protest of the mistreatment endured by military whistleblower and Nobel Peace Prize nominee Bradley Manning. We promise not to give up until President Obama answers our demands. In order to uphold campaign promise to create the most transparent government in history, the President must recognize PFC Manning as a whistleblower and remedy the injustices he has faced over 2 years in U.S. military custody. Our demands are as follows. 3-star General George Flynn must be held accountable for ordering PFC Manning to be held for 9 months in conditions declared cruel, inhuman, and degrading by UN Special Rapporteur Juan Mendez.
Answer to it.
Yes.
Answer to it.
Under direction from then Lieutenant General Flynn, PFC Manning was not allowed regular exercise or sunlight and was even forced to stand at attention naked. General Flynn should be disciplined for issuing illegal orders that fly in the face of U.S.-led international treaties.
Yep.
Answer to it.
Next demand. Though he's yet to be convicted of any crime, PFC Manning has already been severely punished. Additionally, military prosecutors have repeatedly failed to provide PFC Manning's defense all relevant evidence in a timely manner. Despite there being no evidence that information released led to injury of any American citizen, he has already spent over 825 days in prison. Therefore, we ask that President Obama pardon PFC Manning of the remaining charges and seek to ensure the international human rights of other servicemen and women will be respected.
Pardon him. Pardon him. Pardon him. Pardon him.
While we would defend the rights outlined above for any member of the armed services, we support PFC Manning especially due to the patriotic motivations behind the actions attributed to him and the positive impacts that have come from them. For example, we believe it would be appropriate for President Obama to acknowledge the role that those actions have played in ending the Iraq War. During the 2008 campaign, a majority of Americans, as well as a majority of those enlisted, believe that U.S. forces should be withdrawn from Iraq. Many people voted for President Obama because they believed that he would end the war.
Yep.
Despite the wishes of the American people, President Obama sought to keep troops in Iraq past the originally planned 2011 deadline. Documents allegedly released by PFC Manning helped American citizens understand why the war had not ended sooner. These reasons included a failure of the command to adequately discipline soldiers who would discredit the U.S. military in the eyes of the world by wrongfully killing civilians. The release of improperly classified documents via WikiLeaks provided an opportunity for President Obama to grant the new Iraqi government more independence as planned and to bring American taxpayer dollars home and to use them to treat traumatized veterans.
Yes. Yes.
Bradley Manning served with conscience. Words attributed to him in May 2010 show he acted because he wanted people to see the truth. Because without information, you cannot make informed decisions as a public. President Obama made a similar statement in May 2011 when he stated, "In the 21st century, information is power. The truth cannot be hidden, and the legitimacy of governments will ultimately depend on active and informed citizens." We now ask that President Obama honor these words by freeing American truth teller Bradley Manning.
And apologizing and pay reparations.
Free Bradley Manning.
Free
Bradley Manning.
Free Bradley Manning.
Free Bradley Manning. Free Bradley Manning. Free Bradley Manning.
Free Bradley Manning. Free Bradley Manning. Free Bradley Manning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out tonight. We still got a lot of work to do, but you did good today. You can go home and have a cold one on me, as long as you pay.
Yeah, I just, that's a real.